Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Between Realities VR podcast. I say welcome back because I know you've been here with us before, right? Everyone here has been here. You're familiar. You're all part of the Between Realities family, and it's a pleasure to see you again. My name is Alex VR. Well, it's Alex, but put the VR on there to make sure everybody knows what I'm into. I'm one half of Between Realities. The other half is right here next to me. It's Skiva.
Dude. What's up, buddy?
How's it going, man?
Good, man. Fantastic.
Things could be worse?
Yeah, things could be worse. They absolutely could be. We do awesome stuff. So things could definitely be worse.
I couldn't have put it any better, man. Couldn't have put it any better. It's Friday, right? We are live on YouTube right now.
Heck yeah.
Friday, December 16th, 2022. Coming up on the end of the year of 2022. It's quite exciting.
Wow. That's so weird.
It is exciting.
Every year it's like, what? How did that happen? And every year goes by faster and faster.
That's like the relativity of life.
Yeah.
It's like if you live to 10, a year is 10% of all of existence.
Yeah.
But if you live to 40, it's like 1/40th of existence.
Yes.
So smaller chunk.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, it's Friday and we're live. We're on YouTube, but maybe it's not live for you, right? Maybe you're listening to the audio version on Spotify or iTunes or Anchor or any of that good stuff. Or maybe you're catching this on uploadvr.com because guess what? We are Upload VR correspondents here on Between Realities. We love our friends at Upload VR. Okay. And if you're one of those people, just continue to join the website while you listen to us right there in your browser. We're fine with this. Mm-hmm. Like and subscribe, okay? Do that, everybody. If you haven't.
Could you guys subscribe? That'd be sweet because we're trying to hit our next milestone here. So every subscription will be great. And actually, that's all I want for Christmas is for all of you to click that little button. Imagine if someone was like, all I want for Christmas is for you to click a button. You'd be like, oh, that's sick. Yeah. Right? That's all I got to do?
Yeah, but then I lose my agency. I lose my power.
Okay.
I can't, yeah.
All right, don't subscribe.
Yeah, my click means a lot. You got to earn my click. So hopefully we can earn your click.
Yes, we would love to
subscribe to our channel and let's blow this up because I'm surprised we don't have 1 million subscribers by now.
I know.
I thought
1 million, at least.
I thought that would be the case. So it's a really exciting week in VR. There's a million things that I'm sure we could get to. We'll see what we're able to get to, right? Because I'm sure once we dive into our conversation with today's guest, it's just going to take off and, we won't even be in control really of what we're talking about at that point. But I'm looking forward to having that. But before we do, right, before we introduce today's guest, let's say hi to everybody here who is joining us for the live broadcast in chat. Mike Newton is the first on my list. I know he's not the first ever, but he's the first here. Like YouTube likes to kind of keep it fresh. You can't show up like 18 hours before the live broadcast and drop comments. Mike Newton, The Weekend, you're damn right. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for being here. Roy Boy is here, one of our channel members, saying, hey, yo, what's up, BR fam? What's up, dude? Good to see you. Fun with the clicks, chilling. He's got a nice cup of tea, got home from work, making some mince pies and chilling, watching the show.
Heck yeah, that's great.
Doesn't get any better than that,
right?
Does it? No, it really doesn't. Wrestle VR in the house with a fatty super chat, dude.
Hey.
Boom! Like, holy crap. We're starting this thing off.
Thank you.
$50 super chat.
$50?
Can you believe it? It's like, we're just talking about buying some equipment, so...
Bro.
That might help.
Bro. Thank you.
Thank you, Wrestle. He says, starting this hype train off right. So glad to see such an amazing VR community member on Between Realities and a fellow sidekick, which... we'll get to.
Oh, heck yeah.
Thank you, Rezel. You're the man, dude.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you for being here. Dark Angel is in the house. It's the Weekend Gamers.
What's up?
Yeah, she's right.
How's it going, Dark Angel?
CreeperBetty, happy Friday.
Betty,
Good to see you, Betty. Paradise Decay, chilling. My brother.
Diddy.
My squid brother.
Heck yeah.
Good to see you, man.
Glad PD is getting a little better.
For real.
Yeah.
I think he has another operation.
He does.
But his first cataracts operation was a huge success.
Yeah.
I guess it was kind of complicated, and it was like the doctor was like, oh, geez, like this is what we're doing, but got through it. And like he came walking back into the office with a smile on his face. Like, love the story, PD. So happy you're doing better, brother. And we'll see you in a VR headset in 2023.
Heck yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Radio Runt's here, working like a dog while he's watching the show. Thank you for being here, Radio Runt. We appreciate you, keeping us on while you're working. Classy Grandma's chilling, of course, as always.
What's up?
Classy Grandma. Dan Kitty VR in the house. Oh, a little Lord Beavis. Mr. Lord Beavis. Yo, let's go, boys. Let's do it.
Going?
Obscure Nerd VR. It's Andy Southern.
Andy.
He's in the house.
Andy, you coming to CES with us, dude?
Yeah,
You were there. You were there this past year. I hope you're there, dude. It's going to be beyond.
It's going to be off the chain.
It's going to be epic.
It's going to be off the chain.
Epic.
Bobby Carlton. Finally, a day where there's no meeting scheduled during VR.
Yes. What's up, Bobby? How's it going, buddy?
You need to get a new job.
I hope you're coming to CES too. I hope everyone here in chat is coming because I want to hang out with you all.
Glitch Fandango. Good evening. Thank you for being here.
What's up, Glitch?
Tiga Lover 06 Oof. Hello there.
Hey.
Hello there indeed. Thanks for hanging out with us. Tasmania is in the house as well. Chilling. We've got Laszlo216.
Hey, what's
one
up,
of our
Laszlo?
channel members as well.
Yeah.
The weekend can officially start. God, I just love it. Oh, hey, PD dropped a super chat too.
Hey,
he is
thank
dedicating
you.
his £2 donation to Bill Clinton, as he should.
Okay.
This ain't the VR awards, bro.
Cool.
You know that whole VR awards thing that happened?
What was that?
Some like random guy walked up on the stage when Elden Ring was accepting the Game of the Year award.
Yeah.
Like literally a random guy, and jumped up on the mic and he's like, "Oh, I'm dedicating this to Bill Clinton." You know, like super awkward. Yeah, yeah. And I guess he got arrested for it.
Good. That's nuts.
That's
Oh
good.
my god,
Dude, Florian Fadenberger, bro.
Hey, dude.
How
what's
are
up?
you? Oh my
What's
god.
going on?
Will you like call me or something? I would love to catch up with you.
Yeah,
man.
come on over to Arizona. Let's all hang out.
Wolf Raza, are you late, bro? Now you're right on time, man. Wolf Raza's here. Perfect
What's
timing.
up? How's it going?
Thank you guys for being here so much. It's really a pleasure to have you all. Late arrival studio, arriving just on time as well. CreeperBetty with a $4.99 super chat. Starting the Bill Clinton hype train. That is absolutely right. Happy Friday. Virtual strangers, that's West. We're chilling in the house. Alakazam is here. Hello, everyone. ZimTalk5 summoning the Kraken in our chat. Really
Heck yeah.
great to see you. Dark Angel with the 650 super chat saying, all the ASDF fans know I like trains. There it is. I don't know what that means. Paradise Decay also saying, Alex admits he watches my premieres in the shower, so say no more. I do watch PD's premieres in the shower.
Hey,
it is
that's the
always
best
the
place
perfect time.
yeah.
It's like right at like the shower time for me. I like open up my phone to like just have something on in the background, and it's PD every time.
Yeah, well, you know, you're in the shower. Sometimes you're a little naked and cold, and what's better to warm you up than a little Paradise Decay?
That's all you need.
Right?
And of course, I don't hesitate to let him know. And now I'm just like, hey, PD, guess where I am? And he's like, he already knows. Dean, what's up, buddy? Dean Yates is here. Good to see you, man.
Hey, what's up, Dean? How's it going?
I miss you. Ryan Brandon's in the house as well. Duggars K is here. Michelle B is here.
Hey.
And guess who else is here? Our guest for today.
Oh my goodness. We have a guest?
She is
Sweet.
insanely awesome. She
Yes.
does it all. You
Yes.
know, like we were kind of talking about before the show, like, you know, we do some things, you know, like we did like the, hey, let's work in VR, the, hey, let's do a podcast, you know, but not exactly YouTubers at this point, not exactly ambassadors for companies, you know, but Tetiana does it all. Disco VR does it all. And let's just bring her in right now. Hey, it's Tetiana from Disco VR. Hi, Tetiana.
Hey.
How you
How's it
doing?
going?
Hey, how's it going? I'm doing great. And by the way, I also think that you should have about 1 million subscribers now.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
We think so too.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what we need to do to make that happen. Be Joe Rogan, I guess.
I guess so.
Like, I don't, there's some podcasts out there that are pretty big,
yeah.
but maybe VR needs to blow up. Maybe that's what needs to happen.
It's right on its way. And I think that you'll be right ahead of that hype train, Bill Clinton hype train. Oh my gosh, I was laughing so hard at the background there when you're talking about it. What the heck, man? I didn't know about that.
You didn't know
bizarre.
about that? Man, I spent like, I went on Twitter like the day of the Game Awards, and it was unavoidable for me. Like people were making memes out of the guy and everything.
How did I miss this? I live on Twitter.
I don't know, man.
What the heck?
I think you are literally so focused in your VR bubble that you don't see anything
No, I don't.
outside of it.
I don't.
Like at all.
No. VR only. What else is there?
Kind of feel guilty about that too, but I was taking a little bit of a break from social media because at some point it gets really overwhelming because it's the kind of job that you always have to be present, and there are so many social channels and so much information just pouring at you. And I think it was around that time that I'm just like, let's pause this train. Let's make a stop on the train, and we'll hop off, and then I'll hop back on.
There you go.
You can do whatever you want.
Absolutely.
You can do whatever you want.
Yep. You got to stay mentally good, because this definitely can be overwhelming. All the information. It's also a little addicting. You know what I mean? If I'm like not on Twitter for like a couple hours, I'm like, oh, what's happening? I wonder if I missed something.
What do you? What's your primary like? I mean, obviously, you do YouTube, and you're on all the platforms. But like, do you spend a lot of time on Twitter, like Skiva and I?
I would say that I'm like a lurker on Twitter more than I am a poster there. I know that there are people who post multiple times a day, and they're so active, and they manage to comment to other people's tweets and retweet and make original tweets. I'm just, I can't do it all. Yeah. But definitely Twitter would be one of them. Even though there's this crazy thing happening with Twitter right now, did it turn you off a little bit from it, Skiva? What do you think about it?
Honestly,
Twitter craziness.
I got to tell you, not really, honestly, because it's pretty rare that guy that we're speaking of goes into a company and rearranges it and has it fail. You know what I mean? Like to go in and cut off the fat and to make it better, because it was in a stagnant state. I don't think it was ever really going to improve. Do you know what I mean? And I think he's like cutting it down, reshaping, doing all the things. And it's crazy too, because like the guy tried to back out of the deal and was like, no, I don't want to buy it anymore. Like too many bots, blah, blah, blah. And they sued him and made him bought it. And then he went in there and fired them all. I think it's kind of funny.
So basically, Skiva is your typical Elon fanboy,
Yeah, well, kind of. But I mean,
to it.
I guess I am kind of a fan. But I mean, I do think you have to go in sometimes and make tough decisions in order to bring something to where you want it to be and make it profitable and make it more and just evolve the product, right? Well,
and he's pretty confident.
Or you'll become Facebook.
Yeah, he just keeps saying like, hey, guess what? All-time Twitter usage high today, so suck on that. It's like, okay, like you can't argue with the numbers, I guess. Right?
Yeah, I guess.
Kind of a celebrity at this point is just like, okay, a celebrity owns Twitter, so let's talk about that. Let's build the hype up now. Same happened with Mint, like Mint Mobile. Who's the owner of Mint Mobile?
Oh, I don't know. Is that the money program? Mint?
Mint is like the cell phone, like AT&T, T-Mobile, but Mint is like from T-Mobile.
Oh, gotcha.
Deadpool owns it.
Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds?
Yep.
Oh, nice.
I actually love him.
Sending postcards every time. I got Christmas postcards from Ryan Reynolds.
Sick.
That's amazing. Ryan Reynolds is like a guilty pleasure of mine. Like I feel like I shouldn't love him as much as I do, because I know how much like every woman in the world loves him. So it's almost like I should resent him for that or something. But I also love him, and I cannot deny him. Yeah. He's so funny.
He is
so funny.
He's very lovable.
He's the best,
and he's passionate about the things that he loves too, right? So it's.
So we just need to get Deadpool in a VR headset, I guess.
Dude, for real.
Hyped on it.
Tag him on Twitter right now.
Yeah. Ryan Reynolds, we're talking about you, man.
Make him watch this live.
Well, it'll be easy to do so if we end up getting that Wolverine game that Insomniac's working on PSVR or on PlayStation to. Hopefully, maybe it'll become a PSVR 2 thing, right? And then you can tag the crap out of him
on Twitter,
and be like, Deadpool, what are you doing, man? Yeah, Wolverine's got a game. What are you doing?
Yeah, let's get on it, dude. Yeah. We need more celebrities in VR. But until then, we'll have to settle for our local celebrities like Tetiana, who, I gotta say, hold on, before we go into this. Boom. Super chat from Classic Grandma flying in hot. Tetiana, I learned a lot about VR from you. Tell her, Alex and Skiva, I ain't so bad because I met you years ago and did not make a very good impression. I don't think Tetiana remembers this, Classic Grandma.
I think you mentioned something about Population 1, and I never played Population 1, so... Classic Grandma, I don't think it was me. You can relax and breathe.
Either that or we need more details, okay?
Yeah, for real.
We need more details if it was a different game.
Either way, thank you so much for being here in our community, Classic Grandma. Yes. Thank you for the donation. Honestly, all of you have been so generous this past year, especially on this episode right now. Thank you all so much for your contributions. It really does go a long way for us. And we appreciate you all.
Yeah, we do.
But yeah, Tetiana, you're the real deal. Like, like I was saying, it's like we've chosen a couple of avenues to go, you said you can't do it all, but you kind of are doing it all. Like you're a YouTuber, you do podcasts, you are a medical Sidequest Ambassador. You are community manager for Sidequest, which is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger all the time. So first of all, congratulations on all the success in the space. Second of all, great job. Like, you are absolutely have fans over here at Between Realities.
Heck yeah.
And third of all, like, how did this happen? Like, how did you get here? You know, like when did you first put on the headset? Tell us the story. All right, we want to know.
Okay. Yes, it's a great question, and I have to say it's a blessing and a curse. Everything you just said, I'm like, yeah, I do that. And then, oh yeah, I do that. Because it's a lot. And in fact, it used to be even more, because I've literally just graduated with my PhD this May.
Wow. Dr. Tetiana in the house. Woo!
Where's the applause? Applause?
Someone called me Dr. Disco, which was pretty fun, but I will not be renaming my channel.
No.
Dr. Disco?
Dr. Disco, yeah. Yeah.
Really excited that was done, just because at that time where I was in the program, I had already gotten my job and I already had my YouTube channel. So I can start, I guess, how it all began.
Well, hold on a second. Tell me about this PhD. Like, not everybody gets a PhD.
Right?
That's crazy.
It's a lot of work and a lot of smarts.
I don't know about the smarts, but the work, it does take a lot. Mostly I think it's more dedication even than like the brain. I do think that it takes a lot of self-discipline just to get it done, because it's as long, if not longer, than getting a bachelor's in the US. Mm-hmm. And I managed to do it in 4.5 years, and bachelor's is 4. So I started my doctoral program before I started my YouTube channel. So back then I thought, that's all I'm gonna do. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna start this program. And I was in the Educational Technologies program, which was my transition from being an English teacher.
Oh, no way. You're a teacher.
I was.
Cool. And you still are.
A teacher, always a teacher.
You teach people about VR all the time, so you're still teaching.
That's way of looking at that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. Mm-hmm. But no, I was born in Ukraine and raised in Ukraine, and English is it's not my second language. So I really liked it. Like, growing up, I wanted to learn it. I wanted to be fluent. And it kind of led me to be an English teacher. And then a whole series of very curious life events led me to the US, where I graduated and I started working as an ESL teacher, working with international students, just like I used to be.
Sign language? ESL?
Oh,
no,
ESL,
is that ASL?
English is a second language.
English.
Not ASL.
Oh, okay. What's the acronym for sign language? Something just like that. Because SL is sign language, right? Yeah. ASL.
ASL.
American Sign Language. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Yeah. So ESL
very
is
similar,
second language.
Anyway, that was such a long time ago. And with this doctoral program, I went into the learning technologies field. And back then I thought, well, there's so many techs out there that could enhance learning, education. I want to learn it all. I want to see what's done and what I can do and what I can learn or teach others. And there is definitely a lot of tech out there to be discovered, one of which was VR. And that wasn't the first time that I've learned that VR exists, but it was definitely one of the crucial moments of my life where I started digging in and seeing what's out there, what's done, what's not. And back then it was, I believe, 2019. So really recent, like, all things considered, how rapidly VR is developing. It was already pretty advanced. So I didn't start with Google Cardboard or Samsung Gear, which, by the way, was my first VR experience with Samsung Gear. Way before the PhD program.
And you weren't sold on that, I assume.
And I was like, I get sick, man. Like, 3 degrees of freedom, just not doing it for me.
3 off will make you barf.
Yeah, didn't impress me back then, but I gave it a second chance. And in fact, my dissertation is on language learning in VR.
In VR.
It was pretty interesting to see how little was done about it back then. So a part of my research was doing the systematic review on all the research and high immersion virtual reality that was done for language acquisition. And one of the findings was just how little is done and how much there is to be done. And I think that's also important to sort of understand. But somewhere along the way where I was like digging into all that, my academic advisor was like, well, Tetiana, how can you do a research on VR and not actually own one?
Well, yeah.
Good call.
I'm sorry, miss. I really... Okay, I'm not going to say, but yeah, that made me feel bad because, well, you're right. Like, I'm an imposter. I'm doing something and I don't even know it. So I got my headset, which was Oculus Quest at the time. Once Oculus Quest, always Oculus Quest. Was MetaQuest back then. And I thought that this is so cool to actually do a hands-on stuff in VR. And I love watching other people exploring it, so why not start a YouTube channel? Because I know that not many people have VR headsets relatively, so maybe there will be some other people who would be curious to see what I'm learning, what I'm discovering, so to say. And that's how the Discover YouTube channel started.
Oh, not really Disco VR, Discover.
Oh man, that feels amazing.
Yeah,
that is like that's like the twist at an end of a movie that you didn't see coming, and it's like, what? It's been there in front of me this whole time.
Oh wow,
Discover. Holy crap.
And you know why people don't realize it most of the time? Because I have a hyphen.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I have it there for a really kind of a silly reason. When I was looking at other channels, what's out there, I thought, oh, discovered, disco kind of like VR. And I started looking, and there was a channel already that's called Disco VR, like without a hyphen. And at the time, I think it had maybe like 2,000 or 3,000 subscribers. And I'm like, oh, no, they're huge. They're just like...
I can't do this. I can't copy that.
I can't. Yeah, I can't name my channel the same. There's already something out there. So I thought, well, maybe hyphen would be kind of interesting variation of that. Didn't really think of it as Disco VR back then, but people kept like calling it that way.
Did you like correct people for like the first couple of weeks?
Like Disco VR, that's so cool. And I'm like, well, actually, I don't hate it.
Yeah. Did you correct people for like the first couple of weeks, and they're like, okay, never mind. It's a lost cause.
Well, I don't even remember how it was, but I did. I was more kind of enthusiastic to tell them like, yeah, but discover. At the same time, I kind of just also liked how Disco VR sounds because it's really funky, and I like even adjusted the style of my channel a little bit to make it, I don't know, just it's a fun word to say.
It's a vibe. VR, it's a whole vibe. Mm-hmm.
It's really both now. I don't even correct anybody because if you think it's Disco VR, it is.
Wow.
And it's also Discover.
I love it. I had no idea. And I want to do a little quick shout out here. Quick cosplay. It's good to see you.
Hey.
Space Denizen. It's good to see you as well. Classy Grandma dropped $10 again.
Hey.
Believe it or not. She says, yeah, for Dr. Tetiana, holy moly. And it wasn't just her. It was also Florian Farbenberger. Man, how are those air horns, by the way? Are those super obnoxious people? Let me know and I can stop hitting the button. But Florian says, congrats, Tetiana. I had no idea. I only allow my kids to use my PhD title because Dr. Dad sounds so silly. Whoa, Florian has a PhD too. We have some smart people in the VR community. Yeah. Also saying hi to Synth Riders is here in the chat.
Hey,
good to see you, Synth Riders. If you haven't played Synth Riders, you are missing out.
Yeah, and real quick, Synth Riders just put one of my favorite artists on there. Starcadian is on there. So they got Starcadian, they got Gunship, they got the Midnight, like some of my absolute favorites. Plus, they just have so much good music on there. I fucking love it, man.
Mm-hmm. That's Hey so Falcon. Good. What's up, Hey Falcon, bro?
What's up, Falcon?
I think they got a new update too, right? Something groovy, and I checked out their trailer. They had a new disco scene, like a disco, like.
I love pretty cool.
I'm like, man, I have to record a video of that.
Yeah,
Disco
Bruno
VR.
Mars is on that one, and really good stuff. They continue to knock it out of the park with that game and make just such just bring in awesome music and make these really cool what do they call them in the game where it's like completely fully immersive. You're not really going down that track anymore. It's an experience. They call them experiences, and they're really blown up. Like I did the Lindsay Sterling experience, and oh my god, it was so sick. That game is so good. It's like criminally underrated.
Hell yeah.
But anyway.
Incredible.
Anyway, hi Olen VR, good to see you. Hi Ashley Huffman, we love you
What's
dearly.
up, Ashley? How's it going?
And D1 360 VR, chilling in the house as well.
Hey.
Always a pleasure to see you.
Hello.
Okay, so cool. So we got to discover. This is so crazy. I don't even know I don't know where I want to go anymore with this. I don't know if I'm disco. I don't know if I'm discover.
No.
Like when you tell people like, hey, go check out my channel. It's called. What do you say?
I say Disco VR.
You do say Disco VR. So you've made the change.
Because now Discover sounds like Discovery Channel.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
It does. It does. You know, and I mean, I feel like when we were trying to name our podcast, you know, we wrote like 50 names or so down.
Such a nice name. Such a cool name.
Between Realities.
Oh, thanks.
God, I love it. It is the best. Yeah. It's like it perfectly encapsulates like what we're trying to do here. Mm-hmm. And it's funny. I would say, I don't know, maybe 60 to 75% of people will accidentally call it Beyond Realities.
Yeah.
All the time.
All the time, yep.
People call it Beyond Realities all the time. Mm-hmm. They'd be like, oh, he's got a podcast. It's called Beyond Realities. I'm like, Between Realities. I think it's a big difference, you know? But Beyond Realities is what we get called pretty regularly, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I tried to think where I heard that. Cass and Shari said that. She said, join me Beyond Reality. That's where I remember that from.
They
do have.
That's like the tagline.
Yep, that is their tagline, yep. But we are between realities. We're between the real reality, between virtual reality, between augmented reality, and between a whole lot.
Dude, we got one foot in this reality and one foot in the other one. It's like, which one am I in, or am I in both simultaneously, or am I right in the middle? That's what we're talking about. Yep. So when we were writing these names out, we love it.
That's perfectly encapsulates what you're doing. It's like you kind of spelled it out. Now that you have it, clicked it with me. That's the podcast. So perfect.
Thank you. We think so too. And we got somebody from Fiverr to make our logo. And like when we saw this thing coming together, we were like, oh man, this is so great. Like I love our logo. I love our name. Mm-hmm. We're definitely our own biggest fans.
Yep. It only took 85 revisions, but we made it just how we wanted.
Yeah. And the set too actually had quite a few revisions as well. We had really good experiences on Fiverr with people helping us make this kind of stuff. So if you're out there wondering how it's done, it's on Fiverr. Go there.
Yeah.
But anyway, when we wrote out all the names, like we had definitely had a couple of those like ending in VR or starting in VR, like wordplay kind of things. You know what I mean? I feel like it's kind of like a fun approach to the names, but it does get you in trouble. You know, like as you saw, it's like you were thinking you were coming out as Discover, and turns out you're Disco VR. You know what I mean? So it's kind of cool that it worked out for you. But other people, like, I don't know, I feel like people really struggle to like pronounce their names properly, or like they're not seeing like the wordplay, and it goes over a lot of people's heads.
You know, we actually see that a lot, like with apps that sometimes get submitted on Sidequest. There are some that really try to take advantage of that. I think one of the first one I saw was the piano playing app, not the Piano Vision that I reviewed recently, but the older one. It was called Virtuous. Spelled VR. VR. Virtuous. So it's so people don't really know whether it's VRtuous or virtuous. So it's one of those things. The Forever games are pretty good though, because it's for Forever Bowl, Forever Cornhole.
Yeah, those are all good. But at this point, like if anybody asked my advice when they're like, hey, I'm trying to come up with a name, like what should I do? I would say avoid that. Like avoid the VR as the beginning or end of your name, because I do feel like it gets people in trouble, and they're like, how the hell am I supposed to say this thing, or how do we spell this properly or whatever. So that's just my 2 cents. And by the way, before we get too far away from Kaz and Sherry, I just want to shout out Kaz and Sherry. This hoodie that I'm wearing right now came from Kaz and Sherry. They gave this to me when I was at their apartment in Rotterdam when I was there for the VR Awards. They were so nice. They hosted like 10 people at their place, and we're like pouring wine, or 15 people maybe, and like pouring wine for people. And they were like, I was like without my winter jacket, and it was super freezing cold. And they're like, here, you need this hoodie. And I was like, great. I hope you don't mind if you never get it back.
Just such good people.
Yeah, they are really great. So shout out Kaz and Sherry. Thanks for the hoodie. I love it. I washed it, and it still has a little bit of your cat's hair in it. So I feel like that's lovely. Like I have a little piece of y'all here with me right now.
How sweet. That is a part of them.
It is sweet. Also, what's up, Q2C VRG in the house.
Wow.
That's Eric Masher.
It's a whole lot.
Yeah.
Cool. What's up, Eric? How you doing, buddy?
Dude, he's the real deal, man.
Heck yeah.
Can we just take a minute to just like appreciate Eric Masher just for like, a quick second?
What an incredible guy he is. He really is.
Honestly, like I get emotional thinking about the guy.
Yeah.
You know, like he is one of the sweetest, most like loving, generous, like you are the man, dude. We love you. Like you can stay if you want.
Sending love to Eric as well.
How the heck did we end up with such a cool community?
I have no idea.
It's unreal.
No idea. Which, by the way, they had a party, like an Andromeda party in Rotterdam, like I think the day before the day I'm talking about when I went to Kaz and Shares, and they invited like 50 to 70 people over to this like Airbnb high-rise apartment situation, and all these people showed up. Poof, party started popping. It was super awesome, and then like security showed up, and they were like, "Everybody out."
I heard.
Oh, man.
That's too bad.
So I'm like,
the party is successful.
Yeah, sure. And that was the sentiment after everybody left. But I'm like putting my coat on, and Eric's like, "Not you. You stay." And I was like, "Oh, thanks, bro." Like I feel like I'm on the inside circle here. So anyway, he's the man, and we're very lucky to have him.
We are.
It's good to be chosen.
Yeah.
So Discover happened, right? You start this channel, you're like, okay, whatever. Maybe people want to see what I'm learning. Maybe I can share this with people because I think you're like us and realize that not everybody gets it. Not everybody is informed. Not everybody is as passionate as us. So there's definitely an opportunity there. But tell us a little bit about the journey to becoming like who you are today, like Sidequest, Meta Ambassador, like on, are you still doing the Next Dimension podcast?
Yes, we do that. It kind of depends on Sebastian's schedule a little bit, and I'm just not able to join every single Saturday. But yeah, it's happening. It's absolutely happening, and cool. It's very cool. I'm actually very grateful for him because he found me very early on. He just kind of he said that my channel just popped in his feed, and it's just random because I was new then and nobody has heard of me before. And he says like, well, your videos are pretty cool. Like, I'm putting together this podcast because he's had a German podcast, pretty successful one, and he was starting a new one. He only had like a handful of episodes done, and he reached out to me. So pretty much he's known my channel since the very bad quality.
That's awesome.
That's
my first.
That's definitely the first place that I was introduced to you. So
I couldn't even tell you. You just like seeped into my life, and I could not pinpoint like the first video I saw or the first post I saw or anything like that. It's almost like haven't you always been there? Feels like you've always been there.
That sometimes I give that impression. I'm like, there are some things that I definitely need to catch up on with the gang that's been around for like 6 years. Intimidating, but there was a lot for me to learn, and it was a very like dynamic learning period for me when I just entered the field, and then again thrown into this highly tech conversations with Sebastian and his guests that they're talking about. At the time I was not as comfortable with all the different terms like lenses, displays, IPDs, and all of that, and they're just throwing them around. So I'm like, I need to be taking notes. I need to be reading and learning about this stuff, which was amazing because I was still a PhD student at the time, and it actually helped my research too to be really comfortable with not just the software parts of VR but also hardware. So yeah, I thought that was important.
Yeah, because on your channel you do a little bit of everything. Like you have gameplay, like software, hardware, reviews, like everything. Like you do it all. Like you're definitely like a generalist at your approach, aren't you?
Things that I would not recommend. To be honest, just like you said, if there was some advice that I would give to up and coming content creators, is like pick your niche. Pick your niche within your niche. Don't do it all, because you will never be able to do everything, and you will constantly feel like you're not doing enough. And that's how I feel most of the days because of exactly what you said. I do some gameplay reviews, I do some tutorials and hardware reviews, news coverage. But because of this like plethora of things that I would like to do, it's impossible to just catch up with everything. And it's not like I'm greedy. I want to be like the best channel to have all the coverage. But it's really hard to pick. I feel like if I only do gameplay reviews, that would be awesome. But that would miss out on all the cool like news and hardware that's out there that I also want to test out. And then if I only do that, you know, then I don't have enough time to play all the cool games that are coming out. So I'm still like, even more than 2 years in, I'm really struggling with picking what is it I enjoy most, because it really depends very much on the topic. If this is the game that's really like speaks to me, that I'm so excited about, I will review it like no matter what. But I can't commit to reviewing every single game that's coming out. And then it goes the same to news. If this is an exciting piece of news, I will cover it, but I don't feel like covering every single one. So I don't know if this is the right way to go. So far, it's working for me the way it does. But there's always room for experimentation, right? If sometime down the road, if I want to kind of narrow it down or focus on one thing more than the other, then we'll see what happens. Yeah,
I mean, we realized that we don't like editing videos. You know, like we'll do it if it comes down to it, but like this format for us is just like so much better than like chopping up a bunch of footage and doing voiceovers, and that's a lot of work. You know,
it's an incredible amount of work. I don't think people really understand. Like, people will see like a 2-minute video and think, oh, what did you do the rest of your day? That was only 2 minutes.
I know.
It's like, do you know it probably took like 10, 20 hours to edit? You know, it's crazy. It's crazy the amount of time that goes into some of this stuff. And and especially in VR, right? Because when you're doing gameplay and capturing the footage and stuff, and then capturing yourself, it's really so much harder to do in VR. It really is.
It's honestly like a chore for me. Like when I think about doing chores, like it's really hard to like start doing the chores. But like once I like start washing that first dish, I'm like, okay, here I am. I'm in the vibe. I got this, you know, and I'll crank out every single dish. It's kind of like what it's like for me when I'm editing a video. It's like I'm looking at a video like it's a pile of dishes in the sink, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, kind of.
You know, that's a lot. You know, and like once I get into it, I feel great, and afterwards, I'm like, wow, look what I did. Nice. You know, that's awesome. But it's difficult for us. So, you know, that's like a big reason why we like this format, you know, because we can just do this thing, record it, boom, it's up. Awesome. Good job, everybody. You know,
it's a great life hack. That's a great VR life hack. It does feel daunting at times. And I've noticed that if I start working on a video right away, when I'm still excited about the topic, it kind of just flies. It can still take up to 10 hours, but at least I'm enjoying the process. And if I'm postponing it for a little bit, which happens more often than I would like to admit, because there's also life, there's also a job, there are other things happening, then it'll take me forever to just convince myself to get to that pile of dishes. Even if previously I was super excited about it, time has passed, some other things are happening, and the excitement is wearing off, and it's kind of harder to get back. But yeah, I can definitely feel your pain and totally understand why you're doing what you're doing.
Yep, it's easier. And, you know, I'll edit videos. I'll edit another video in the future, you know, like, but for a while, like we took the approach that we thought was necessary to get where we were trying to go. And for us, it was about being like working in the space, you know, like contributing in the space outside of just making videos, you know? So like, you know, that was like our ticket to CES, and like AWE and GDC is like, hey, no, we're going to make videos, you know, like that's what we're going to do. Like, that's why we should be there. But now that we've like kind of established ourselves in other aspects of the industry, it's not exactly a means to an end anymore. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was our hack, was like, hey, no, we're making videos, trust us, like we're getting involved, like we're doing all this. But like now I work for Contact CI, you know, Skiva's got Impact Reality going, and like we both have a reason to be at CES this year outside of just like a media presence, you know?
Yeah, well, see, it's kind of the other way for me. Everything I think that I have achieved now was because of the quality of my edited videos.
Yes.
So I didn't do live stuff. I've had this I guess like a stage fear in a way of live shows, which MRTV helped me overcome. To be live on camera is kind of a lot more comfortable for me now than before. I felt more comfortable being pre-recorded where I can edit things out. But I always try to go for quality rather than quantity of videos. So
definitely. Which, by the way, shout out Sebastian, you know, like we've been talking about him a little bit, but I'll tell you what, like if y'all ever have an opportunity to like actually connect with this guy, he is so awesome, like so supportive. Last time Skeven, I saw him in person, he was just like gushing with enthusiasm and support for us. Like we had to be like, dude, shut up. Okay. Like we get it. Like you think we're awesome. You know, like he was like out, just completely outcoming.
Really good guy.
So awesome. Like really, really awesome. You know, we definitely have a lot of love for Sebastian.
Yeah. Overall, he's just a really nice person. You know, he's very knowledgeable about the VR field. And he has so much passion for it. I mean, he treats his channel and this like an actual, you know, job and business. Like this is not just a little hobby that he does if he feels like it. He's so serious about it, and just so supportive as a person. You know, we've connected a lot during the past 2 years, like just working on MRTV because we had to work closer, and so he knows me more, you know, personally, and some things that I've gone through, and he was very supportive with the invasion of Ukraine too. There was a lot of support that I received from him about it.
Wow, that's really great. I imagine that was a difficult time when that was all popping off. So to have some people in your corner during the difficult times is pivotal, really huge. That's great.
It is. Yeah, that whole thing is a super bummer, and it still is because it's still going on. Yeah, super sad.
Yep.
But
Wow. It is. I didn't mean to bring it as a bummer on a show, but it is happening.
No, it's okay. Life is what it is. It's not all roses, you know. So.
Yeah. I think it's good to spread awareness about it. I did talk about it pretty actively on my channel at one point, and those who know me, they know exactly what my stance and my feelings are about all of this. And I hope that people continue talking about it and highlighting it in the news, and talk to their friends and families about what's happening and how just Ukraine is pretty much defending the liberty of the whole Europe.
Right.
And yeah, it's a little bit of a, difficult times because Christmas is coming, New Year's is coming, so there's holiday spirit, and it's not, it's just a time where it's nice to feel like you can relax and you can feel like everything is great. It helps to talk to my family and to friends just to know that they are doing okay.
So. Absolutely. And if somebody because I'll admit I don't have my finger on the pulse like I did when this stuff was first popping off. So what's the best way that people can contribute, right? Like what's the best way that people can participate in these conversations or become more knowledgeable about what's happening in the Ukraine?
Guess to understand that this might come off as a little wrong, but it is for a good reason that Ukraine needs more weapons. And we don't need more weapons to attack or invade. We need more weapons to defend. So all kinds of weapons that would help us to just deflate the bombs and the shelling that are flying into our direction, that helps a lot because on the front line, our army is pushing them away slowly, meter by meter, but they keep attacking civilian infrastructure. They keep attacking the electric grid. So many people in Ukraine without power, or they have power just several hours a day. And that can be avoided if we have enough adequate weapons that could help deflect those attacks and so that those rockets never actually reach the ground.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't have weapons that I can send, but is there a place where the community kind of gathers to, learn this information or to discuss this stuff? Is Reddit a good place for it? Or, what's the approach there?
Is Reddit a good place for it? Yeah, that's a good question. I would need to look into it a little bit more because I personally check, all the official sources and sources that are coming, like Ukrainian, coming directly from Ukraine. But for someone who's in the US, I guess that's a good way would be to follow some Ukrainian defense pages on Twitter. They always post to the most recent news and they are retweeting some, you can see some devastating pictures there, but you can also see some very important conversations that are happening between the world leaders and things that they are doing to support us and things that we need to get more. So yeah, there are a couple of Twitter accounts from our leaders that are sharing this information nonstop. So that's something that could be followed.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And thank you for bringing it up because, you know, like I said, it's like, you know, things were like everywhere when this all first started. And now it's kind of gotten quiet for me. Like I don't see a lot of updates when it comes to this kind of stuff. So it's good to have you, you know, provide that perspective. And because, you know, you're important to us, you know, like you are a huge part of our VR community, you know, like you're like a sister here, you know what I mean? So it's really good that you're able to talk about this with us, you know, it means a lot. So thanks for bringing it up.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you for like letting me hijack your very, you know, positive VR show. I never mean to do it. So it always feels a little bit awkward to talk about such.
It's completely okay. It's completely okay. Like that's the thing. Like if we can do anything here, it's have real raw conversations with the people who we love. So thank you for making sure that happened today.
Thank you.
So that's some food for thought, everybody. I think it's important that we all make sure that we're supporting however we can.
Heck yeah.
Moving on from that situation, we do want to know more about Sidequest. Okay, because you work for Sidequest. You're community manager, right? I hope so, because that's what I put in the description.
Yes, I am. And that actually goes back to what I started talking about, the quality of videos, right? So I didn't really do live streams, and I was putting all my work and time that I had left after the studies into making these videos, and I was trying to make them as high a quality as I could. So I wasn't trying to make a video a day, but if I make like 2 videos a week, I tried to make them as best I could. So I think that went a long way. The channel started getting noticed. Of course, you know, the podcast started. Later on, Meta Ambassador program started. But my Sidequest involvement happened for pretty much that reason also. Their team started growing, and when I was hired out, I think I was only 10th or 11th member of the team.
Nice.
It was still rather small, but it's growing now, and they were looking for a community manager, but not in the most, I guess, traditional sense of that word. Because usually a community manager is almost synonymous to social media manager, someone who schedules posts, interacts with the community, which of course is something that I love to do, and I do that. But I do have a nice little team who helps me with the social interactions and scheduling some posts. So it's not just solely me behind like Twitter pages. Like, in fact, Shane and Orla tweet from there, you know, on their own pretty often with their own voice. So another side of that job is also creating content, and I think that's how I got noticed. Even though my channel wasn't very big at the time, they liked the quality and the vibe and just like the whole personality of the channel that they saw, and I think that was something that they thought was fitting for the vibe that they wanted for Sidequest. And
so they hit you up?
The position was there, and they thought that I would be a good fit for it. So
you didn't hit them up. They came to you with the gig.
Yes.
Man, that's awesome. Oh man, that is awesome.
That's cool, because Sidequest is so cool,
I'm
right?
Incredibly thankful for them to, you know, for thanking me for that, because I absolutely adored Sidequest. And in fact, my very second video on my channel was the Sidequest tutorial. I kid you not.
Nice.
You can go back and look at it, but don't do that, please, because they're awful. But my very second video was about Sidequest. And then I kept doing some other tutorials that involved Sidequest, because I thought that this is freaking amazing how there's this whole new content platform where you can find so much more than just the official store. And back then when I started, not many people talked about it, at least not from my experience. So I've followed them pretty much from the start, well, from my personal start. And being an actual part of their team now just feels amazing, because this is an incredible group of people. You were just talking about how wonderful the VR community is. The Sidequest is the encapsulation of that, you know, excitement and beauty and just dedication to making VR better and to helping developers and helping content creators. Really, truly blessed to be a part of it.
Can you? So we're assuming here that everyone knows what Sidequest is, and I believe that everyone here in chat does, right? But
if you don't know what Sidequest is, let us know in chat, because I would love to know if this is new information for anybody who's watching the show.
But for the people that are watching later on and the people listening, why don't you give us kind of a quick overview of what Sidequest is?
So I'm hoping that there are some people who don't know what Sidequest is, because then I would be introducing them to this great new platform.
Well, we would be, kind of. You would be through us in a way, you know. Just okay. Sorry, go on.
It's all Alex.
Go on. Already taking over in my head. Yeah, apologies.
No, I'm just teasing you.
So, Sidequest, as you can see here on my wonderful new hoodie. Some people in the chat might recognize it.
Not me, unfortunately. We can talk about that later.
VR content platform for standalone VR games. And that's the platform where you can find pretty much any VR applications imaginable, starting with, you know, experimental beta titles all the way to the official titles, which is a little known fact, because there is still a little bit of a stigma around Sidequest that all you can ever find there is underdeveloped games or some kind of experimental titles, which is not true. We are growing to become the largest content platform for all standalone games, which includes official titles. So some of the things that you can find there are experimental app lab games, free demos, custom homes, which are the home environment that you can see when you're just entering the quest. And one of the very exciting things is game ports. So you can find VR game ports of games like Doom and Half-Life and not Roblox, Minecraft.
Return to Castle Wolfenstein. Yeah. Shout out Team Beef,
That's
y'all.
Right.
Yeah.
Dr. Beef, man, he is the homie.
Yeah. He's just so talented. Him and his team are just unbelievable. They just keep doing, bringing classic, amazing games, and they're not stopping.
And they're so good.
They are so good. They're
so
usually
good.
better than, you know, or on par with like built for VR games. Yeah. Right.
Absolutely amazing job they're doing. Dr. Beef are on the top of the world. Oh yeah, and some really fun fan-made titles of games that you wouldn't find in the official store just because, you know, they're fan-made, so they're free. And I guess one of the more popular one is Attack on Titans, which is pretty cool because there is an announcement that the official Attack on Titan is going to be releasing soon. But we've had a fan made for years.
Nice.
I think it's been one of the highest rated fan made just VR applications.
Yeah, it's called Attack on Quest or something. I think it's called Attack on Quest. Yeah.
Attack on Quest.
Yeah,
nice.
really cool. A lot of people rave about that. And it's cool. It's cool we're getting an official one too, but you can find a lot of stuff that just won't make it to the store for whatever reason, but that's very much worth playing and experiencing. So it's a really cool platform.
It's a place for developers to build communities, for sure. Oh. So very often they are bringing their games there, and the community have been so actively engaging with them, helping them improve their game, making better, just sort of following their path as they are, you know, listening to their feedback and making those changes. And there are so many success stories where these little-known titles that were just submitted to Sidequest have reached all the way to the official store. So there was Puzzling Places, Hyperdash, very recently Gorilla Tag.
Yeah, cool.
Finally,
Hyperdash was the big one for me. Like I remember like downloading Hyperdash and like being obsessed with Hyperdash until like it eventually made it to the store. And I was like blown away that game wasn't on the store.
It's nuts to me that one of the most played games on the Quest, Gorilla Tag, it took so long to get on there. It's very strange. Sometimes it's very puzzling to know what makes a game that Meta wants on their store, right? Obviously, it's not always a game that's being played a lot, that has millions of players, right? So it's
Can you speak to that at all? Like, do you have any like a peek behind the curtain of the curation process over there coming from Sidequest?
We have not had any information about their process of approving those games. So we are pretty separate from Meta's guidelines and their recommendations or whatever they're using to approve their games. So we do get, these questions often from developers, because obviously all developers, dream of getting to the official store. They're asking if this is something that we could do or some kind of recommendation. But honestly, I would say the best advice is to just make connections with some of the developers who have gone through this path, who have, ended up there, especially if they started as a title that needed to be sideloaded or as an app lab title. Just inquire about their experiences. So what did they go through and how did it work for them? But yeah, this is also a mystery for us as well.
So does it cost money to use Sidequest, or how many games are for sale? Like, what's like the ratio of like free content versus paid content?
Ooh, I don't think I know the ratio, but I do know this: we do not get any money for the game sales because we do not host any paid games. We do not take part in any of the transactions. All of the paid titles that you see there are pretty much being redirected to the platforms where those sales are occurring. So whether it's the Meta Store or it's itch.io or I don't know, I think there's maybe one other platform. And APKs can be sideloaded on, they can be uploaded to our platform and later on sideloaded to the Quest, but it is absolutely free. So there is no fee associated with that. And essentially, that is an amazing way for developers to put their game in front of over 2 million active users of our platform, who are exactly the target audience of those developers. Because most of our users are VR users. In some instances, they might still not have a VR headset, but they're interested enough in VR to be on our platform and explore those games. So whenever we are talking to some developers who might be just on App Lab, but not on Sidequest, or even on the official title, but not at Sidequest, we would be like, hey, this is just an extra place for you to get so much visibility, and it's not going to cost you anything. And we are helping with marketing strategies and some tips, social media shout-outs. We do have different ways for them to use our marketing system on the platform. So it's just a wonderful place for developers to get started and to continue on, moving on their sales, even if they already made it to the official store.
So you want to ask it?
Well, I just wanted to say that I think it's important that we mention that the Meta Quest isn't the only supported headset on Sidequest. Is that correct? How many headsets are on there currently and supported that you can hook up and download titles to?
The most updated information you will find on the actual platform. So there are some filters that you can use if you're just curious. With all games, I think the most recent one was Pico.
Nice.
And right now, if you click on all games and the filters, you'll find that the platforms you can sort by Quest and Go, of course. Then there's Pico and Magic Leap. I'm not going to say too much about that. There are some conversations going on, and I'm not the one to speak about them.
That's crazy. You can get content for Magic Leap on there.
Wow.
That's crazy. Sorry,
Wild.
go on.
So technically, you can sideload an app to a headset that supports, this sideloading, but it all depends on whether the game is being ported to work on that headset. So whether OpenXR is going to happen or not, that would be the dream. But for now, even before Pico was there on our platform, we always said that, you can sideload things. You could even sideload the Sidequest app onto the headset. But with games, it all depends on the developer and whether they will adapt the APK to work for that headset.
Olen VR asked a pretty good question in the chat, and they said, is Sidequest currently doing anything to capture the PC VR audience?
Not currently. So we are focusing on the standalone aspect of it. Although there are several PC VR titles that you can find them. There is a filter, basically a button that says PC/link. So it is something that you can find. but I wouldn't say that at the moment it is the main focus of our platform.
Got it. So we were talking about this a little bit before the show, before you joined us, Tetiana, and we were wondering, how is Sidequest doing this? Like, how's Sidequest making money right now? Like, if all this is mainly free for the users, unless they're making paid content, and then the paid content's going to the developers, how does this work? Like, how are you guys making money?
Well, a little chunk of that is coming through the ads. So we do have our promo system, but that is not the main, I think, source of income. I don't really, at the moment, this is not the model that does bring income, period. So if you have been following the history of Sidequest, they have been gradually accumulating investments from investors who see the potential of this platform. And there are some exciting plans for the future. Again, this is something that will be discussed in the future, probably not with me, maybe with Olen Shane, but we recently closed the next round of investments with 15 million. With Google Ventures being the lead investor in that round. And that, of course, will allow us to grow the team, to expand, and to build more very exciting features that you will be hearing about soon.
See, that is some crazy stuff. Like, can you speak a little bit more to the Google investment? Like, what did Google see that made them drop millions of dollars on Sidequest?
I mean, first of all, if you have 2 million active VR users there, even if they are not currently monetized, right, in the traditional sense, you can't deny the fact that having that kind of a community is a big deal. And there's, loyalty from that community. There is a positive reputation of Sidequest in the VR field, and things can be done around that. And these things have been discussed with Google Ventures, and that's all I can say about it.
Well, that's, I guess, gonna have to do.
You know what's cool about Sidequest too is even if VR just stopped being a thing tomorrow, I think Sidequest would have a bright future in designing clothes, because they have the coolest merch like anywhere in VR. I think it's just like some of the coolest looking merch and shirts, and it's really, really good stuff.
I need to get in one of those hoodies. It's like a very high priority in my life.
Yeah. So speaking of that, what do you? I know I've seen a few people out there that really rock these things a lot, and a lot of them are what you would call what do you call like the Sidequest ambassadors? Yeah. Is it?
Sidekicks.
Sidekicks, yes. Can you tell us about Sidekicks and the Sidekick program?
Sidekicks, yes, Sidekicks. Yeah, ambassador, I guess, is one way to call them, but I prefer not to, because they are, let's say the alternative way for them is verified reviewers.
Oh, okay.
So we have, thousands of games here on Sidequest, and we've already gone through this. There are many of them. They're experimental titles, or App Lab games, or beta games, or official titles. So there's just so much going on. And our platform supports the community of people who are trying out these games and who are leaving reviews or who are making video reviews about them. And we are not really limiting to who can review them or how they can review them, but we do wanted to create a group of trusted content creators who we would know, okay, this group, they're dedicated to, our platform. They love our platform. They love exploring games, and they are producing high quality content that we would like to introduce to our, developers on a more regular and consistent basis. So I initiated this program called Sidekicks.
Wait, you initiated this?
Reviewers.
This is a Tetiana implementation over at
Sidequest.
Sidequest.
My baby.
That is so awesome. Congratulations.
Heck yeah. That's amazing.
Yes, thank you. There have been thoughts about it. I know that Shane was thinking of more ways to involve content creators in, with us, because there's just so much that we could do together. And, because I'm a content creator and I had a little bit of knowledge of how different programs like that could work potentially in a way, like how others organize it, like even the Meta Ambassador thing. That is something I'm familiar with, but that's not the model that I wanted Sidequest to take. So it's kind of a different partnership with these content creators. There's pretty much no strings attached with them, because everything they already do, we just like what they do. So the initial group of content creators were handpicked based on how active they were in reviewing games and just their general vibe with Sidequest, whether they enjoy the platform. If some of them already promoting platform, that's even better. So that is a way to support both content creators and developers, because these content creators, they're of course receiving some perks like better or easier access to keys. They have the ability to request these keys, but they no way have any obligation to review those games. So whatever they decide is best for their channel, that's what they do. So they're curating their own content. In many cases, all these channels already have gaming channels. So this is just a way for them to get extra support and appreciation from Sidequest, getting a little check mark on our platform that says that we trust you. Your reviews are great. You're getting support from us, and developers will know that you are doing this work.
Sweet. And then you can leverage that for developers.
Will tell them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
I was actually just going to say the thing you're saying right now.
Yeah, and so the developers are also aware now that we have this program. So in addition to promoting their games on our newly developed giveaway system or some banners, thumbnails, we also say that, by the way, we have this group of verified reviewers. If you're interested to get some feedback, it's not guaranteed, of course, but there's a high chance that some of them may be interested in providing you some of this helpful information.
That's awesome.
So it's a great way to kind of work both ways, to connect with the community of content creators and make sure that they are being supported and promoted, because we do try to give them due respect with make their voice stand out in the community as much as we can, and to offer a little bit of extra support to developers.
That's lovely. And I'm sure like being a content creator, being an ambassador for Meta, like having, like knowing what's going on behind the scenes for those people has really helped you put this whole system together. So that's really awesome. And, speaking of the Meta ambassadorship, rather than like ask you what you think about it and like, having a whole conversation about it, maybe I'll just ask you like, what's your favorite thing about being a Meta ambassador, and what is like your least favorite thing about being a Meta ambassador?
So I think that my favorite thing about it, how do I say this? At first, of course, it was the easier access to keys, because when I joined, I sort of felt the same. I felt in the same boat as the creators who just joined the Sidekick program. It's nice to have a streamlined way of getting access to games without constantly having to manage dozens and dozens of emails every day.
Yeah.
And trying to find that access. But I really like the community of content creators that we have as well right now, because we definitely feel a little bit like more tightly knit with that, because we have these conversations about games, about the news. So I definitely started feeling a little more connected with the community since I joined the program, because of the great people who also joined, and they were excited to sort of start this new journey. This is definitely, it just made my life easier as someone who's so busy with doing like so many things, getting the news, compiling them, getting the keys, getting some extra help sometimes if I need it with like even hardware or software. It's all in one place now. It's centralized. It makes my life so much easier, and it's more streamlined. So I think this is my favorite part about this program. You asked about the least favorite part?
I did.
Public opinion.
Public
Isn't that
opinion.
what everybody kind of struggles with in the program?
That's interesting. Why do you think people have a negative public opinion of a Meta ambassador?
I mean, I kind of, at the beginning, I didn't really blame them because it's very easy to judge a channel and just completely write it off as a sellout because you joined this program. So there's nothing we can trust anymore. Anything you say, you will just say because you're in this program. And that's a lazy way to look at it. I'm not here to just defend the program. I know that this is already like a year-long conversation. But I try not to engage with those things. And this is my philosophy on all kinds of negativity and hate that I face on like YouTube. And everybody does, I think. Like everybody gets hateful comments from time to time. And the best strategy that I found that works for me is just not
don't engage.
Even acknowledging that they exist on this planet. So they're always dropped all the way to the very bottom. If there's like zero engagement, zero interest in whatever that person has to say, and that just fades out. There are so many people and just as many opinions. You can't please them all. So just move on and be happy with what you're doing. As long as you're proud of what you're doing, that's what matters.
It's called Don't Feed the Trolls.
You're loyal to your principles. You're not kind of deceiving yourself. I mean, if you're comfortable in your own skin, that's what matters. And I am. I definitely am.
Well, good. That's
confidence is really important. You got to be confident, like you got to be willing to be like, yeah, this is me and these are the decisions that I'm making. And, if you don't like it, take a hike, Yeah,
me and Alex had a lot of talks when this thing started happening, and then we saw the people that were joining up in the program, and we know all of these people personally. We know their integrity, and we know that that they're not selling out, and they're still going to give their honest opinions, even if it gets them in trouble over there, right? So it's it's all about the people, and we're all in this to do certain things. A lot of us want to work in VR, right? And to have one of the biggest VR companies come over and go, hey, your stuff's awesome.
The biggest. The biggest.
Yeah, the biggest. Yeah. And to have them come over and go, hey, your stuff's great. We'd like to work with you. I don't think there's any real shame in that, so yeah, cool stuff.
It's usually the vocal minority, right? They're always the loudest, and it creates the illusion that that's the voice of the majority, which most of the times it's not. Although I did get some strange questions from hardware companies that would ask me if, as a Meta ambassador, I'm allowed to create any content that's not about Quest.
Well, that is a good question, right? Because every ambassadorship and every affiliation with a company does come with their own sets of rules and stipulations. So, back then I would have maybe even asked the same thing, but
but that's a good example of how people believe what they want to believe, because every single one of the ambassadors made a reveal video, announcement video, and every single one of them highlighted exactly what this program is, what it does, and what it doesn't. And the problem is many people just choose not to believe that.
Well, a lot of people have been burned. I remember a little guy named Palmer Lucky telling me not to worry about Facebook buying it, and how you won't need a Facebook account, and how you won't need this, and you won't need that, and don't worry, I promise. And then, what happened?
Yeah, so you can only believe, a part of, I guess, of what you're told. But no, I mean, either way,
Fair enough. I think even we, when we were joining, we were critical about it. For what helped me make this decision was an explicit promise that I would be able to break the contract at any time.
Nice.
So if there was something that I would find unacceptable, some restrictions that I would never do otherwise on my channel, then I would say, you know what, I can get the keys on my own and I don't need this. But me and I don't even know how many ambassadors are there right now. None of them has left. In fact, many more joined, even those who initially decided not to join.
True that.
Later on changed their mind because of the good reputation and the promise that we as ambassadors deliver to stay to maintain the integrity to our own channels.
Yep. That sounds good to me. That makes perfect sense. And I mean, I personally, I'm with you. I know the people who are in the program. I know them well, and it's like GT does not pull his punches. Is GT in it? He is, right?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, we saw him in California. And like that's another cool thing, right? Is the ambassador program sent all of you guys to California to go to the Meta Store opening, and Skiva and I just decided to show up. We're crashing this party. And that was so cool.
Thing ever, guys. You're just like, look who's here. It's a surprise. We didn't even know you guys would be there.
Yeah, Upload sent us over.
So much cooler because Skiva and Alex will be there.
That was awesome.
Yeah, Upload sent us over to cover the event, and we just, did a little poking around, found out where the ambassadors would be, and kicked in the door, and we're like, yo, we're here.
Yep. And I mean,
like it, sorry.
And we were like, hey, can we hang out? And Meta's like, yeah, you can hang out. And like, we went to the Hard Rock Cafe with you, and they like bought us dinner and stuff. Like, they treated us like we were ambassadors, even though that we weren't. You know what I mean? So it was like really nothing but good vibes while we were there, and it was awesome to see you and to see everybody else who was there too. And it was a cool weekend.
They're good people. They're all very good people. They are, the people who are hired for this program. I think they were specifically engaged with this one projects, and they are not even the same ones who ran somewhat similar kind of variation of that maybe 2 years ago. I think it was even before I started the channel. And I don't know much about that, but from what I understand, it's a completely different team, and the way they're running things are, just so different. And some people are stuck on the way it was run before. So maybe that's why that negative taste in your mouth kind of keeps sneaking into the new program. But I'm happy to see that it's already been a year, things are going well, and there don't seem to be any major changes to what we initially signed up for.
That's good. That's great. Yeah, I mean, Facebook Meta is easy to talk crap about. It's like, it's easy to not trust them. People have just been burned by the company multiple times before. So I understand the perspective, but I'm glad that we're having this conversation again, just to kind of like clear things up and to give another perspective of the program. We've never talked to anybody on this show about the Meta Ambassador program, and they're like, oh yeah, no, dude, stay away from that. Like, that is a nightmare. Yeah,
good things to say. So that's good.
One thing I wanted to bring up real quick is I have this really cute fish that Resolution Games sent me to promote bait, and I love Resolution Games, so I'm just gonna throw it out there. Bait, it's a game.
It's a game. It's a cool fishing game, and it's now multiplayer.
And that's why we have multiple fish.
Yeah, you can go
now
fish with your homies.
We can go do it together. Yep. But I just love Resolution Games. They always send like really cool little gifts like this in the mail, and they make some of my favorite games. They just crushed it, by the way, with their Resolution Games showcase. They did. Nothing but hype for awesome titles. Like, they did such a good job with that video presentation. Like, literally setting a standard. I think like moving forward, you have to do that or better. Like that's all there is to it. But they're awesome. And I did get to play the Reign of Chaos campaign in Demeo. There's a new character, the Barbarian character, who is super awesome. And I am really enjoying it. And I love Resolution Games. So thanks for the fish. And thanks for making Demeo and other titles. And that Racket Club game that is coming out soon too also looks pretty good.
It is. Wait, can I talk about that one? I think I can talk about this stuff after because now it's past the 15th. But I also got to play Reign of Madness, and it was really, really cool. The new
Reign of Madness.
Reign of Madness?
No, that is what it is. I called it Reign of Chaos.
Oh yeah, the Reign of Madness. Yep, it's really cool. There's new characters involved. There's a whole new map, new bosses. Right? It's really, really awesome. Some of the things that they've done with the new heroes is really, really cool and adds a whole new dynamic to this game. They keep adding to this game and making it cooler, and they keep making it so you can even go back and play the previous campaigns with the new heroes, and like it just brings all this new stuff to it, right?
Yeah.
So it's really, really good. And they also did another thing in Demeo called battles, right? So you can like go in there with your friends and kind of beat each other up, and you can control, like you can even bring in monsters and like go at each other with it. And it's really, really good.
Mode, Demeo PvP, which is not here yet. This is launching in 2023, but Skiva got a sneak peek when he was in Sweden, and I hear you crush somebody.
Oh yeah, who's I playing? I think he was playing Harry Baker, I believe. From Upload VR. But yeah, it was a good time, man. It was really, really cool. This is just another way to hop in there and not have to spend another 3 4 hours sometimes playing through the campaign, and you just want to get in there and do like 20 minutes, something like that, and go against your friends
to kill someone.
Yeah, you can. I mean, it depending on the strategy. I feel like, you know, if there were 2 Alex VRs in there, it might last an hour, right? Yeah. But you can get through this in, you know, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, right? Like a much smaller burst of gameplay you know, and it's such a beautiful game and just another mode to throw in here. So it's really, really cool. I really enjoyed it.
I'm really excited about it coming to Steam Deck as well.
Yes, I played it on Steam Deck too.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of those things that, I like playing it in VR, but it would be so cool to just chill on the couch and just play in the comfort of my bed.
And I'm sure you have friends that like to play games but don't necessarily always want to be in VR, or they don't have a headset, right? And they can play on the computer, they can play on a Steam Deck, they can play in VR, they can play in AR, right? And like you can just play this game any way you want with as many different types of people as you want now, and it's fantastic.
And it's still good,
it's a great game
as a flat screen game.
That's super
the thing. Like it is actually still good. I have a squad that I play with. I've mentioned this on the show before, but I'm the only one in VR. The other 3 are all playing the Steam flat version, and they are not VR gamers, and they had no reason to love the game, and they did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a great game.
It's excellent.
Yeah, it's good, man.
And by the way, that barbarian is borderline OP. We mentioned this before the show, but like the barbarian can leap, and the leap is really far and can go over any obstacles. So like if you're on an upper level and want to get to a lower level, you can just jump over there, and when you land, you do so much damn damage, dude. It is not even funny. Like I seriously think it should be nerfed, like maybe 50 or 75% of the damage.
And they might,
because it's crazy.
You know?
Yeah, I killed.
They're good at balancing, right? They're really good at balancing this game. So I feel like they're gonna figure out, you know, the way it should be, and kind of make adjustments.
Dude, it's sick. And like the hook can be used to pull. I didn't know this, but Skeeva mentioned this to me. You can actually pull the lamps in the level to you, and then it becomes a card in your inventory. It removes it from the level and gives it to you in your hand. That's insane. And then you can also use the hook to not only pull stuff to you, stuff or enemies, but you can also use it as means of transportation. And that was my primary way of using the hook. I would like hook to the furthest possible square that I could, and it like pulls you all the way across the map. So Barbarian is super awesome, and I'm really having a good time with it.
Yeah, it is. It's really good. Resolution continues to support the titles they have now, and to create some amazing games, and just continue to push the industry forward. And everyone there is awesome.
For real. Like
good people.
I know.
They employ good people, and that is awesome.
Do you like Resolution like we do? Because we're just like happy to talk about Resolution games.
I mean, I was watching that gaming showcase, and I just thought, man, I love every single one of their games. How is it possible? Like they're just nailing it time after time after time. And you know what got me most excited? They got a game on Sidequest now.
Yes, they do. Spatial Ops.
Spatial Ops is on Sidequest?
It is.
Right now?
You can grab it right now.
Right now, for free, sideload only.
Whoa.
So it's the only place you can find it is on Sidequest. And I'm like, this is amazing, because this is another chance for us to, to talk about the platform and to finally say, see, like Resolution freaking games put their new experimental FPS location-based title and mixed reality on Sidequest as a beta, I think was right. But it's a free one, so literally anybody can give it a go. And I'm just so stoked about it, because again, this is just a great way, an opportunity for us to spread even more awareness about the platform, and say that, like, if this is not the reason for you to get Sidequest, then what is? Resolution Games is putting a title there. Come on.
Yeah, you can map your place and turn your place into a place of battle and run around with your friends and shoot each other. It's like paintball with really cool weapons. You know what I mean? Like this is like you could rent, you could maybe go and reserve a basketball court somewhere, or you could just map out your house or your office building, stay after work and map out your office, right? And run around and like, hide behind desks and like, it's really cool.
You can definitely do it just in your house. Like you don't have to have just an open, space, like 15 by 15. Like it can be really awkward shapes too. There can be objects in it, because they have the system that you can map objects so that enemies or weapons don't spawn on those objects. But I even tried to map my little studio here.
Oh, cool.
Just to see if it's going to work, like if it's going to start, or if it's going to block me and say that you need the minimum room. It didn't. You can literally have the tiniest little room, which is not the experience you should be having. I put 2 measly walls and 2 spawn points, and we were literally shooting with a bot, like face to face. But it didn't work. It did work for just like a little testing. I might make a video and just title it "The Smallest Play Space for Spatial Ops."
That would be fun. That would be fun, like a stress test almost. Yeah, do it like in a 1 square foot space or something.
Just right in your face, whoever shoots first.
Which, by the way, I'm assuming that my level all needs to be on one elevation, right? Like I couldn't map upstairs. And
that's a good question. I don't know. Like I played this at Resolution Games and it was all on 1 floor. So I don't know. I got to play this with gamer tag and VRO mic.
You were there? Man, I'm jealous. That was
V-Bunny Go and and Harry Baker from Upload and Scott from Road to VR and like Todd from Q2C. Like we all got to run around and shoot each other and like hide behind cover and like snipe each other from down the hall, and like it was just super cool. Yeah. And we played this on the Quest 2 and the Quest Pro, and both phenomenal experiences. It's almost easier to play it on a Quest 2 because everything's black and white and the things you need to concentrate on are in color, so you don't really lose things in the scene, right? But it is definitely more immersive to play on the Quest Pro where everything's in color because everything really looks like it's happening like right in your environment, right? So there's pros to both, playing this on both platforms, and it's super duper fun. And Resolution Games are just going to make this better and better and better and better. So this is cool, and I'm glad it's on Sidequest.
What about the depth perception when you were playing on Quest 2? Wasn't it kind of scary to run around? Didn't everything just seem kind of flat, or it was fine because it was just a big surface that didn't have any options?
I feel like it was pretty good because it knows where the walls are, it knows where every pillar is, you tell it where the furniture is, so you do a little bit of setup beforehand. But if your room is obviously empty, it's a lot faster to set it up. But even so, it places everything in VR in there, and you can kind of see everything. Plus you have the virtual walls. Plus you see your friends, because not only do you see them, but you see they're wearing like an augmented outfit and a helmet and a vest and stuff, right? Yeah. Which makes it even more clear, so you don't have to really worry about like running into somebody. So it was pretty awesome. You can even hit a button and change the color of the room around you too. So it doesn't have to be black and white. It can be like, red tinted, blue, or like all these different colors. And it was such a good time.
That's
really,
great.
really had fun with it.
So did the room have to be mapped out only on one headset, and then everybody else would be invited to a multiplayer and automatically have it mapped out, or did it have to be mapped out on every single headset?
That's a good question, because we didn't map it out. We went in there, they already had everything set up for us. They just handed over the headsets. We hit a button, put in our name if we wanted to, and hit record or not. So it was, I went through the setup like one time really quick because there was some issue with one of the headsets, right? But it only took me like a couple minutes really to map it out, which is crazy. But I don't know. I think they talked about having a thing where it like uploads the other user's map to the other headset, but I don't know if they're there yet, right? This is all still experimental and beta,
Yeah, but that would make sense, right? Because if you have a local multiplayer, everybody needs to have an identical map. You can't just ask everybody to map it out separately, because then what if you have a different map?
And that takes a million years too. That's not very user friendly. So you're probably right. I bet you there's like a host, and whoever's joining the host's room gets that. But by the way, did you see that the Quest Pro and the Quest 2 are getting co-location?
Yes, and that's big for something like this too, right?
Huge.
That's a big deal. So with the Vive Focus 3, you can make one play space, and then you can upload your map to all of the other headsets that you have, and then all the headsets know where each other are, right? And it works really, really well. Well, it turns out that Meta has also been working on something like this. So I feel like we're gonna see more co-location based experiences and different things happening here. And why not, right? Because this is a mobile headset. This is kind of what we want. This is what we want to do.
It's really important, you know?
It really is.
Because like I've done some like local multiplayer VR gaming at my house where like, you know, my wife and I are playing walkabout mini golf in the living room, but like you're each in your own instance of the world. So like they're never where you expect them to be. Like they don't match where they are in those space, you know, but like you could do that with this service. Like your headsets would know where each other are. So I think this is obviously a huge feature, and it's not here yet, but it'll be a big deal when it lands.
Yeah, I think so too.
So listen, we're getting really close here, but I do want to bounce the ball into Tetiana's court one quick time here before we end the show and just ask, like, you know, is there anything that's like been pressing, anything big that's happening in the VR space right now, anything important about you, about SideQuest that we haven't mentioned yet that you want to take an opportunity to bring up before we kind of get to the end of this thing?
I guess I don't want to take too much of the time since we're wrapping up, but I can like give a little bit of a teaser of the next something that I will cover on my channel.
Yes.
Last weekend I went to check out the PotamWorks Roadshow. And I got to test and hands-on the new PotamWorks Crystal and even PotamWorks Portal, which does exist.
Okay.
Very
and
cool.
that's the
What'd you
Nintendo
think?
Switch of Pimax, right?
Yeah, the Portal is. Yeah.
So with the PotamWorks Crystal, I remember, you know, that was a pretty exciting show that they had. They always have exciting shows, and we always go like, and then maybe not so excited after we get the headset in our hands. So the first thing that I will say is that it's still in development, so it's not the final version, but they're extremely confident in bringing in their ability to bring a much more complete version of Crystal at the CES 2023, which is only a couple of weeks away. Can you believe
it? It is.
Yeah, I cannot believe
it. It is, and we will all be there, and we will all be doing this Pimax demo and trying it again for the newest version. So stay tuned on all of our channels to learn more about that.
Right, and it's just crazy how time flies. And so I think the main reason why they did this roadshow is to show people that this headset exists, because, you know, they've teased Crystal and 12KX for a long time, and at some point they went really silent for months and months, and people were thinking, okay, well, for sure they scrapped the project. We've never seen anything other than 3D renderings. It's real, and they got, you know, a chance for everyone to try it for free. All you had to do is just show up in one of the locations that they were in the US and in Europe. Well, what can I say?
Yeah, well, tell us. Was it good?
Did you try? Have you tried Vario Aero?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you remember the clarity of how sharp everything looks?
Oh yeah.
Well, imagine that, but with bigger FOV.
You're killing me.
Horizontal.
Oh my goodness.
Hold on. Compare it to the Quest Pro, because I've been using that.
I found it to be clearer than Quest.
Shut up.
Wow.
I don't believe you.
It has local dimming, just like Quest Pro. And man, the FOV, I mean, it wasn't as crazy as 8KX, right? They had like, I don't know, 180 or something, like to the point where you put it to the maximum.
Yeah, it was like 200 degrees is the highest on the 8KX. Yeah.
It's probably too much, but it had a more healthy, like horizontal FOV. Maybe it was 120 or something. But the vertical, man, vertical. I was looking with my eyes up and I couldn't see the end of it. Like,
cool.
I didn't see the black light where the display kind of ends and you can see the black. That was amazing.
So it sounds like you were impressed by your demo.
With the visuals were really good. Like, they were good. They were like Vario Aero good.
Dang.
And one thing that I didn't even notice at first, and I realized later, is that it doesn't have, it doesn't require any base stations. So it has this inside-out tracking. I don't know why. I just got so impressed by that because I was turning my head around everywhere. We were trying this some kind of a flight simulator, and Elite Dangerous with like super dark blacks and very clear little lines that were not blending in together. You know how in some headsets, when there are such tiny details and they're further away from you, they kind of blend in.
Yeah, they
see
like
the pixels
smudge
kind
together
of like
a little bit,
fuzzing out. Like you could see those tiny lines all being separated and not blending in. Like you could see them very clearly being separate and very bright because of the local dimming. I was extremely impressed by that.
Wow.
But one thing that, not one thing, there's definitely more than one thing, because they promised so much. They promised way more than just great visuals, right? They promised wireless PC VR. They promised their new controllers. They promised a standalone mode with their own store. They promised
hot swappable battery.
There was a lot. Oh, they do have that. Yeah, they had like interchangeable batteries. It'll come with 2. So when you buy it, there will be 2 interchangeable batteries there. Like,
nice.
Amazing. Oh yeah, and the swappable lenses, right? The one with 35 PVD, another one with 42. I only got to try the 35 one. Yeah, so I would say that I got to try like 30% of all of that because the controllers were not working. Right? They didn't give them to me. They're still working on the firmware of that. And that's a big deal because like I literally couldn't test if the controllers were tracking properly. And that's something you'll be getting in the box. So it needs to work perfectly. All the demos that I tried were static, like sim experiences that you can do with a keyboard because you don't have controllers. So that's something I thought, okay.
That's scary.
If they deliver this at CES,
Yeah.
it was only 3 weeks away. But Kevin was super confident that it's just a matter of weeks of
Yeah, I mean, they're using the reference design from Qualcomm for the controllers. They're not like reinventing the controllers here, right? So I feel like they'll get them working. I mean, at least I'd like to believe so, because what's a VR headset without a way to interact with the world, right? So I'm not too worried about that. We're going to find out here really soon because we're all going to CES.
Yeah.
We're doing this Pimax demo, but Pimax isn't the only thing that's going to be there. There's also a new headset from HTC that's going to be at CES as well, right? This is a big CES for VR.
It's going to be huge. And let's save the HTC one for next week because
absolutely. I did want to tease it though.
That's a good tease.
Just mentioned it, so
I'm glad you brought it up. We've actually had an opportunity to talk about this on the other podcast that we do, the VR Crewcast, which we've never even talked about on Between Realities.
Oh, yeah. Go watch the Crewcast.
Go watch the Crewcast. We do it on Mondays with a lot of superstars in the VR space.
Yeah.
And Bradley is one of them. Sadly, it's Bradley. And he kind of like gave us the rundown on this headset, like, I don't know, like 3 weeks ago or something like that, So we've talked about it a little bit, but this is the first official image that's come out with the headset. So we'll dive into this a little bit more next week. And then, of course, at CES, where we'll get to meet Tetiana again, and we'll get to hang out with all of our friends in the VR space. But we gotta pull the plug on this thing, man. Which,
we do.
Yeah, how fast did those 90 minutes go by, Tetiana, huh? You're a little worried about talking about you for 90 minutes?
It's nice to chat with you guys. Such a great vibe.
You are awesome.
Amazing.
We are huge fans.
Too fast.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for all of the work that you're doing in the VR space, for helping inform people and making sure that Sidequest is going great, and making sure that Meta has good people representing them, and putting out the YouTube content and hanging out on MRTV and then showing up on Between Realities and coming to CES and all that stuff. We are very lucky to have you in the space, and we're lucky to have you as a guest on today. So thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for coming.
You're too kind. You're too kind, guys. Thank you so much for inviting me, and everybody in the chat for joining in to nerd out about VR. It's what we love to do.
It is what we love to do. Everybody, say goodbye to Disco VR, Tetiana. Bye, Tetiana.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. and she gone. And hey, look, $10 from Wrestle VR, bro.
Hey, all right, thanks.
Well,
wrong button. Wrong button.
I got good at that for a minute.
You did.
Dude, Wrestle VR, you are too kind, brother. Like, thank you for your generosity here. He says, thanks Between Realities for having such an awesome guest and a pillar of the VR community on. That's all we do here, man. We got pillar after pillar after pillar. That's what it's about.
Yes.
You know, because everybody's holding this thing up, man. Like, we're all in this together, and it's so great to have people on like Tetiana who have carved out their own little space into the community and contributing in all of the ways that they can, and I just love it.
I know, for real, man. There's so much to show and so much to talk about, and I'm just glad we have all these awesome people to do so.
Yep. We could have, I mean, we had like, you know, like a list of like 10 different topics that we could have jumped into today, and like it's just so easy to just chat with these people. We do this every week. Like every week we have like a few topics that we can fall back on just in case we need them, but like there's always so much to talk about, and it's always so engaging and exciting that 90 minutes just evaporate for us.
It does.
So
and I'm sure it'll be the same next week. Next week we have Deirdre and Steve from the Ferryman Collective, and what that is it's like a live VR theater where you can go in, just like the meta movie that we had talked about previously and had on our show. You go in and there are actors and an entire world there to give you an amazing experience, and it is the future of theater and entertainment. I think it's really, really cool. Me and Alex get to do the Gumball experience, which was, I mean, it almost made me emotional. It was really, really amazing.
I had a cool moment in it, and we can talk about that next week when they're on for sure. Because, you know, without revealing too much, there's things that we can say about the experience that can kind of give you an idea of what to expect when you go in there. Thank you, everyone who joined in today for the live chat. You know, we have some amazing people in our community, and this just would not be as awesome as it is without you all. You know, Quick Cosplay, which, by the way, tomorrow I am playing not tomorrow, Sunday. On Sunday, I'm playing Demio, the new campaign with Quick Cosplay and Dark Angel and Chris Richardson. That's
epic.
That's the squad.
Epic squad.
And I'm expecting a W. All right. That's why I'm holding up this.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like, these are my 3 party members, but that's also the W. They represent the W that I'm getting when we get in there and we kill the Elven King once and for all.
Heck yeah.
So I'm really excited, and I'm calling dibs on Barbarian, by the way. So y'all figure out something else to play. Paradise Decay, thanks for being here, dude. Tasmania, Paul Watts, Moonshine Games slid in here. That VR girl, thank you for coming by. It's good to see you. I was just creeping on your Twitter, I think today, actually. Virtual Strangers, that's Wes, bro. Thanks for being here, man. Dean Yeats, our homie. Dark Angel, of course, here in the chat. Duggars K, Fun with the Clicks. Tasmania, up in the house. Rezel, of course, dropping way too much money. We love you so much. Surreal. It's probably Surreal, huh? Thanks for being here, Surreal. You know, D1360 VR. Midlife Gamist was up in here. Jenna was up in here. Jenna Say Quoi was up in here, late to the party, but, you know, fashionably late, as always. I don't know about as always, but fashionably late is always a good thing, I think is what I'm getting at. Olen VR and Ashley Huffman and the rest of y'all. Zim Talk, dude, thanks for being here, man. Thank you guys all so much for supporting us and being a part of the Between Realities community. We will see you next week with the peeps that brought us Gumball Dreams. What, Ferryman Collective, right?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
We'll see you next week with Ferryman Collective. Have a good weekend.
See you later, y'all.
Bye.